Ford, GM, and Toyota are ditching their dealers and implementing a direct-to-customer approach. I know most of you think this is good, and in some ways it is good, because this means less hustle for us and no longer dealership add-ons. But this thing is very complicated and it'll affect almost everything. Let me explain. The big picture. For many of us, a trip to the dealership used to be a rite of passage, a chance to kick the tires and test drive a few models. But let's face it, that experience has started to feel a bit outdated and cumbersome. The process of haggling with salespeople, navigating endless rows of vehicles, and dealing with the pressure to make a decision on the spot can be overwhelming and time-consuming. Enter Toyota, Ford, and GM, who've taken notice of shifting consumer preferences and are embracing a more streamlined digital approach to car shopping. But it's not an easy thing by any means. In 2020 alone, Ford reported selling an impressive 843,000 vehicles through its network of dealerships in the US, while Toyota boasted over 2.1 million units sold through its established dealer network. However, with the rise of online shopping and demand for convenience, these industry giants are ready to make a bold move towards direct-to-consumer sales. You see, this is not just a passing trend, it's a strategic decision aimed at meeting the changing needs and demands of today's tech-savvy consumers. With the rise of e-commerce and the ease of online transactions, Ford, GM, and Toyota are capitalizing on the opportunity to provide customers with a seamless digital car buying experience. By eliminating the middleman and putting the power in the hands of the consumers, these companies are paving the way for a new era of car shopping. Picture this, you're lounging at home, cozy in your PJs, customizing your dream car with just a couple of taps on your phone or keyboard. Say goodbye to aimlessly strolling around car lots or dealing with pushy sales folks. This new direct-to-you approach is all about giving you the reins to your car buying journey, both literally and figuratively. But hold up, it's not only about the ease and comfort. These companies are also on a mission that most of you watching might not have thought of. The true motivations. The first you're going to hear is obviously going to be to amp up the transparency and clarity in the car buying game. By ditching the back-and-forth haggling and surprise fees often found at traditional dealerships, these companies are striving to deliver a more upfront and customer-focused experience. But there's more to this whole direct-to-consumer car buying than just making the experience a little more enjoyable. The real reason these giants are taking the reins is all about control, my friend. This change isn't just about bringing more transparency and clarity to the car buying world, but also about ramping up the overall customer experience. By handling the entire process themselves, they can ensure that every customer enjoys a consistent and delightful journey. And by selling their vehicles directly, they keep their brand shining bright and free from any dealer hiccups that might tarnish their rep. You see, as of now, for the most part, these auto giants relied on third-party sellers to showcase their cars, leading to a hit-and-miss experience for buyers. One dealership could treat you like royalty, while another might leave you feeling like you've been taken for a spin. But by cutting out the middleman and going straight to you, they can now take charge of every step, from your initial browse to the final purchase. Just picture the level of personalization and care you'll get from dealing directly with the manufacturers themselves. With slick virtual showrooms and tailored service, with GM, Ford, and Toyota paving the way in this bold direct-to-consumer era, the future of car shopping is looking seriously exciting. But do you know what they need the most? Data. The hidden gold. You know that this is a bit of a hot topic to say the least. No one's going to point any fingers, but just think about it. Your car could be recording everything, from your daily commute to those private moments. There's a whole lot of personal data that could potentially fall into the wrong hands, posing a real threat to our privacy and security. It's no wonder the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, has been sounding the alarm on this issue since 2013, emphasizing the critical importance of responsible data handling. But hold on, just hear me out. When used responsibly, data is a total goldmine. In today's digital world, it's the fuel that keeps the innovation engine running, and car companies are certainly no exception to that rule. This isn't just some random numbers on a spreadsheet, folks. It's real-world, in-the-trenches information about what makes you, the customer, tick. What features do you crave in your dream car? What are those pesky pain points that make you grind your teeth during the car buying process? The data gold they'll have access to is truly mind-boggling. But it's not just this new approach raising concerns. You see, many people believe that the DTC approach is just the gateway to something even greater, a car that always collects data. And the misuse of this car data could also lead to some alarming consequences, like stalking or even insurance rate adjustments based on your driving behavior. Imagine someone getting a hold of your car's data and using it to track your every move. That's a terrifying thought. And what if your insurance company starts penalizing you for certain driving habits, even though you thought that information was supposed to be private? Adding to the complexity of this issue are the national security implications. With car companies collecting truckloads of sensitive data, there's a real risk of that information falling into the hands of foreign actors, which could pose a serious threat to our public safety and national security. The challenges don't stop there either. The privacy policies surrounding all this data collection are often as clear as mud, filled with legal jargon that makes it nearly impossible for the average driver to understand what's really going on. And even if the car manufacturer is playing by the rules, there's always the risk that third-party partners, like app developers or service providers, might not be following the same standards, putting our data at further risk. Look, I get the convenience and personalized experiences of DTC are appealing. Say you spend hours upon hours online tinkering with the virtual configurator, meticulously decking out your future ride with all the bells and whistles. That level of granular data could be an absolute goldmine for automakers when it comes to future car designs and future development. Information like how you use your vehicle and how satisfied you are with it, that's all invaluable intel that automakers can use to craft even better cars and target their marketing with laser-sharp precision. But here's the thing, good or bad, all of this requires a huge investment. And at the end of the day, it's all about the numbers, the dollars. That is what keeps them going. And when you start looking at this whole new strategy with this perspective in mind, you can see a lot of things that the media doesn't talk about. So let's dissect it all. Numbers game. This isn't just about changing old ways, it's about staying in the game and surviving. You see, sticking with the traditional dealership model is costing automakers a jaw-dropping $2,000 more per vehicle compared to Tesla's sleek, dealer-free approach. Can you believe it? 2/3 of that whopping amount is essentially burning money on ads and letting cars soak up the sun on lots. Just look at Ford's latest hits, the Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning, which flew off the virtual shelves without the need for a massive ad blitz. Now, here's where things get a bit wild. Despite the initial success of these popular models, dealerships are reporting a surplus of Mustang Mach-E's and F-150 Lightnings sitting around. Turns out a lot of EV buyers are skipping the dealership entirely and shopping online. And just like Ford, General Motors has seen a surge in demand for its new model, the Chevrolet Bolt EUV. This electric vehicle has garnered significant attention from consumers, leading to a rapid sellout of initial production units and a waitlist for future deliveries. Despite the initial success of the Chevrolet Bolt EUV, dealerships are now grappling with a surplus of the standard Chevrolet Bolt model. This is causing quite a stir between these giants and their dealerships. And it's not just about the extra cars piling up. The traditional dealership model carries some hefty costs: real estate, inventory management, staffing, you name it. All of these expenses end up getting passed on to you, the customer. But by cutting out the middleman, Ford and other big players like Toyota can slash their distribution costs in a big way. And you know what that means? They could pass those savings along to you, making their prices much more competitive and potentially cornering a bigger slice of the market. Or they might reinvest that cash into research and development, pushing the envelope on cool new stuff that we really need. Heck, they might even just boost their profits, who knows? That's why, even though all this change is going to require some serious upfront investments in digital infrastructure, logistics networks, and customer service capabilities, they're just keeping on going. Because over the long haul, these investments could pay off in spades. On top of that, shifting to direct-to-consumer model can streamline inventory management like you wouldn't believe. Instead of having cars sit around, mismatched with local demand, a build-to-order approach could keep things agile and efficient. Less overproduction, less storage cost, and more customization for you. That sounds like a win-win. But let's talk about the side effects too. Setbacks and obstacles. Now, the real work is going to be dismantling the dealership network, which has been the industry's backbone for ages. The road ahead is filled with legal labyrinths and operational hurdles that automakers will need to navigate with precision and strategy. It's not easy, but to be honest, this is just the tip of the iceberg compared to what they'll eventually have to face. Have you ever stopped to think about the local economies that depend on these dealerships as major employers and big-time tax contributors? If these places start shutting down or downsizing, it's not just the employees who will feel the pinch. No, the ripple effects could reach far and wide, hitting everything from the local diners to the schools that rely on that sweet tax revenue. On top of that, inventory management is a critical piece of the puzzle too. In the traditional dealership model, you can stroll onto the lot, take a test drive, and potentially drive off the same day. However, with this direct-to-consumer approach, instant gratification might not always be possible, and that could seriously impact the overall customer experience. With a bunch of shiny new cars sitting on the lot ready to go, these companies might have to hold more centralized stock and rely on lightning-fast logistics to get the vehicles to customers in a flash. It's not just about having a fancy website, it's about creating an experience that's as close to that classic showroom feel as possible. At the end of the day, it's all about the customer, right? I mean, without meeting our needs, none of this matters. Oh, and let's not forget about the legal landscape. Many states have laws and regulations that fiercely protect the traditional dealership model. So it doesn't take a genius to see that this is a big deal for all of us. It could be an epic success or a total disaster. Remember that Toyota SmartPath program? It was an ambitious attempt to modernize the car buying experience, but it hit a few bumps along the way and it turned out to be disastrous. Let me break it down for you because all of their future plans actually stem from this past experience. The failed attempt. Toyota saw an opportunity and rolled out their slick SmartPath retail experience aimed at revolutionizing the digital car buying journey, especially in the post-COVID era. With SmartPath, you can start your adventure online, save your dream car in a virtual garage, and then decide whether to seal the deal on the web or at the dealership. Talk about making the entire car buying process seamless. Toyota really nailed it on their website, dealership sites, and in the showroom. But here's where the rubber meets the road. Toyota's SmartPath promised a game-changing experience, but the reality didn't quite live up to the hype. Sure, you could custom build your new ride and have it delivered straight to your door, but those pesky dealer markups were still being tacked on. And let's be honest, customers were hungry for a true revolution, something that would finally put an end to these age-old car buying gripes. Sadly, Toyota's SmartPath fell short of the mark, and by 2022, the program was history. I mean, let's get real here. A fancy online setup is undoubtedly cool, but it can't magically fix deep-rooted industry problems overnight. Sure, SmartPath had its perks, but it missed the mark on tackling the real beast, those dealer markups that made comparison shopping a total headache. But hey, at least it revealed the truth about one thing. Maybe dealerships are the real problem. Toyota's SmartPath program didn't really catch fire, and one of the biggest reasons for its fizzle was, well, the dealerships are actually sabotaging it. No surprises there, right? These dealerships, after all, are businesses. And what's a business's main hustle? Making money, of course. Can't really fault them there, it's pretty straightforward. When you're pulling in big profits for financing plans, insurance policies, and extended warranties, why would you want to upset that? Sure, the markup on the cars themselves helps pad the bottom line, but those extra services, that's where the real money rolls in. And with an increasing number of buyers going online and bypassing the dealerships altogether, these businesses are starting to feel the pressure. Enter Toyota's SmartPath program stepping on some toes. Naturally, the dealerships weren't jumping for joy at this development. Why would they opt to use SmartPath when it meant forsaking all those lucrative add-ons and service deals? There's simply no good reason for them to embrace such a change, so it's not exactly shocking that the SmartPath program didn't revolutionize the market as intended. However, it did cast a glaring spotlight on a critical issue: just how stubbornly resistant the dealership industry is to adopting digital solutions and revamping the car buying experience. Toyota found itself in a tough spot, stuck between wanting to please their customers and having to navigate the tight constraints of the current legal landscape. That's precisely why Toyota decided to pull the plug on the SmartPath program and go back to the drawing board with a fresh approach. This time around, they're grabbing the wheel and taking full control over the entire process, everything from financing and insurance to marketing and advertising. With their immense resources and expertise, they're more than ready to handle it all, especially now that Ford is venturing down the same path. But hey, as they say, progress isn't a walk in the park. You've got to crack a few eggs to make an omelette, right? But do you know who is really doing it right out here? Making bold moves, diversifying, and taking it slow though they don't fail? GM. They've already started applying this model, but it is a bit different than most people have explained. But we need to talk about the details, so let's. GM's new approach. In January 2022, the iconic automaker launched Car Bravo, a direct-to-customer platform that aims to give digital retailers like Carvana and Vroom a run for their money. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about Car Bravo? Well, this platform is all about providing a seamless shopping and purchasing experience, whether you're browsing online or wandering into the dealership. GM's got its sights set on making the used car buying process as smooth and hassle-free as possible. But as you might expect, not everyone was on board with this new initiative. Some of the GM dealers expressed their concerns about things like pricing, dealer profits, and how Car Bravo's certified pre-owned program would fit with their current practices. And let's not forget the pesky enrollment and per-vehicle fees. Those definitely raised a few eyebrows. Despite these challenges though, over 800 dealers signed up for Car Bravo, and GM's hoping to reach a whopping 1,200. It's clear that there's a mix of perspectives within the GM dealer network, with some loyally sticking with the current CPO program and others eager to explore new and exciting avenues. And down under in Brazil, GM has been rocking the DTC game, and they actually managed to sell a whopping 56% of their new Chevrolet Celta model online. Customers could order their cars directly and snag some sweet price breaks and lightning-fast delivery. Meanwhile, over in China, GM's facing stiff competition and is exploring DTC strategies as a way to set itself apart from the pack. If you ask me, they're doing the right thing. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.